So today I want to talk about rushing financial freedom. And I know that sounds crazy because I think all of us are in a rush at all times. I think it's partly culture, American culture, busy hustle, bustle, type of stuff. But I think the bigger thing is that assuming you're listening to this podcast, you are a highly ambitious individual. You have big goals and you're going to accomplish this because that's what we do here and that's what we expect. And so when I talk to my students, I really project my everyday life. Is like when I set out on a goal, I hit that goal. There is no discussion if I will or if I will not. There's no debate with myself internally if I will or I will not. And so on my whiteboard, one of our biggest goals right now is not only to hit financial freedom, we've already hit that number. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But right now, our goal is to raise $1 million for Dravet syndrome. And not only is that an awesome goal, but we will do that. And that's the expectation I have going in. So all of my students feed off this energy to fix their financial situation. But not only that, they do it quick. And so I want to take you guys back to the situation that we were in when I was 23, 22-ish or whatever. We're 33, going on 33 now, and 32, late end of 32, going into 33. And a decade ago, we got really serious about our finances. And so my goal was to annihilate our debt, which we did, $304,000 in 5 years. And on top of that, become financially free. Now, when we first set on this goal, our goal was to pay off debt in 15 years. It's crazy to even talk about that. But we paid it off in 5. And then obviously we became financially free over a decade, which is crazy to even think about. And we never really looked back, like ever. So once we got more into it and more into the weeds, we got more ambitious, because we knew we could actually do it. So it became a game to us. And we really have not looked back until I'm doing this podcast, even right now. Like even maybe a month ago, I was still kind of in like, let's go and focus mode, even though we hit that financial freedom number. And so it was really interesting when our daughter Logan came and was born. She's 2.5 now, going on 3. And we did not really look up until that moment and realize even at that point, we were still do or die. So this was, let's call it 3 years ago when I quit my 9 to 5 job at Deloitte. Logan came. We were blessed with Dravet syndrome, which I talked about earlier, and she is diagnosed with that. And so that's caused obviously a lot of challenges in our life, but we overcome this because that's what we do. And really, we were so focused on do or die with that situation and moving to Texas and getting my wife out of her 9 to 5 so that she could stay home with Logan so she could get the best, treatment in the world and move across the country for her. And that's what we did. But because of that, we went into overdrive. So not only for the first, let's call it 7 years of this decade, we were focused on getting into a financial position of really, really healthy position. But then we had a situation where it wasn't only, hey, let's get in a healthy position. We need to become financially free because this will impact her life forever. And so we were do or die. And really up until about now when I'm speaking to you, when it really came to, the forefront of my situation, I'm like, hey, I'm really stressing myself out for no particular reason. And I think this happens to a lot of people is you don't feel like you're moving fast enough. And when in reality, becoming financially free entirely, like I don't have to work ever again. And I have the amount of money for a lifetime to support my family in the lifestyle we want to live. That's crazy to think about. And a lot of you guys can do this pretty fast. Like I talk to my high income earners all the time, making over 100,000. It's fairly straightforward. And everyone that's either read my national bestseller book, The Roadmap to Financial Freedom, or has been part of the Budget Dog Academy understands exactly what I'm talking about right now. It's not hard. It's just time. And so I think it's really crazy to put ourselves in that position nonstop because here's what I want to take a second and think about is why do we do what we do? Why are we attempting to hit the financial freedom number that we want to hit? It's not just a number. It's really understanding that that number gives us the lifestyle that we want to live, or does it? And so I want to bring this process up with people is because we, during this process, started living the life we wanted to live before we actually became financially free, which was crazy. So when I quit my 9 to 5 job to pursue Budget Dog full time, it wasn't that I was using Budget Dog as a tool to become financially free to never work again. The whole reason I did this was because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to live in, a life of service, being able to give back, being able to help individuals overcome the challenges that we were able to overcome. And so I'm already living, let's call it 3 years ago, the life I wanted to live, but I was still stressed. And partly because the situation, obviously, with Logan's, medical needs and stuff like that. But I think more so was I just wanted to be at this end goal for no particular reason. I never asked myself, took a, pause and said, why am I trying to hit this number? Let's call it 3 million, roughly speaking, for no particular purpose. And I knew, you know, at the top conscious level, hey, it's for financial freedom. But deep down, I didn't ask myself, well, why am I hitting financial freedom? It's to live the life I want to live, which I'm already doing, which is silly to continue to live really stressed when I'm doing what I want to do. And it was a very interesting situation to be in. But I'm looking back at this, and I'm talking to so many people. I had talked to a student last night in Budget Dog Academy. They were like, man, this academy has sped me up so much, but I'm not financially free yet. And it was like a 6-month period that we worked together so far. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? Do you expect to be financially free in 6 months? It's taken me at least a decade, and that's reasonably a short time frame. And he's like, I just want to move faster. And again, I'm bringing in inviting highly educated, but also highly ambitious people to my circle. So those types of people want to achieve things quick. But I want you to think about really what you're after. Why do you want to hit financial freedom? Do you want to hit financial freedom just because? Do you want to do it so you stop working? Do you want to do it so you can transfer work? Do you want to do it so that you can have a spouse stay at home with the children? What is your actual end goal? My end goal was really doing exactly what I'm doing right this second, talking to the masses about financial freedom, explaining this in a very simplified way to make your life a lot easier, to live the life that you want to live and enjoy your life while you're here. And so that's really what I did, guys. And that's exactly what I did. But I think the biggest thing is not actually achieving the goal. And I talked about this in one of my recent podcasts, is there's levels of financial freedom. Level one is just getting a financial plan. And I think if you get to level one, you're going to instantly overnight feel better about your finances. And so this includes a lot of things. These are things that I bring up in the academy. These are things I talk about every single day on social media. And I'm going to give you guys a list of things that you should have in your financial picture to feel good about money right this second. And the goal is not to hit financial freedom. The goal is to actually relieve your stress so you can live the life that you want to live right this second. And so step one of this financial freedom goal is simply just understanding what you need in order and having this actually in order so you can actually see the future. So it's not a guess. You should know exactly and precisely, okay, this is going to take me X number of months to pay off my debt, and this is going to take me this many years to become financially free. And there's tools and galore that we provide to make sure that this is abundantly clear to everybody. So here are a few things that all of my students, and this is, there's way more than this, but these are like kind of high level things that we talk about within the journey of financial freedom. So obviously a budget, right? Number 2, a balance sheet. Number 3, amortization schedules, if applicable, if you have any debts. A debt payoff plan, so specific numbers behind that, when you're going to pay this off. A money plan specifically to reach your goals. So everything's mapped out. You know when you'll become financially free. You know when you hit that level 2. Not only the level 1 is kind of having all this stuff here, but level 2 is living a life that's, it's not black and white. Financial freedom is not black and white, right? Along the way, you can adjust your lifestyle, and that's level 2. So like when I quit my 9 to 5, for example, at Deloitte, that was level 2. We were able to make some moves, but we weren't fully financially free until level 3 when you hit financial freedom. So level 2 is a great place to be. And when you have this money plan, you know when you're going to be financially free, but you know you're going to hit level 1, level 2, level 3. You know everything before it actually happens. And instantly, because you know that, just knowing it, purely knowing it, is going to bring your stress levels way down. And so it's not always about actually hitting the financial freedom number. It's about knowing you're on the right path you're going the right direction. And time is okay. It's not the end of the world because you're working towards it and it's becoming a game. Other things, automation of everything, bill pay automation, you have your investment automation, you have your debt pay down automation, everything's automated in your entire situation, financial situation. Investment accounts are aligned with your particular situation. Investment allocations, same thing. Investment resources, same thing. Investment plan to reach all your goals. It's very clear as to what you're doing, where you're putting your money, every single dollar goes. It's all automated, all that kind of stuff. You know the allocations, you know the accounts, you know why, all that kind of stuff. Your child investing's on point. Your insurances, your trusts and wills, durable healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney, tax strategies on lock. Your credit's good, all that kind of stuff. These are just a few high level things to have level 1. That's if you have all of this stuff, Level 1, level 2, and level 3 will come with time. Level 1's already done, right? You've already gotten the financial plan together. And if you don't have any of these things, you need to get this stuff right this second. The reason you're feeling overwhelmed is because you have an unknown with your finances. If you have all this, it's going to tell you your story before it actually happens. It's kind of inevitable to actually achieve your financial goals when you have a true financial roadmap. And so this is what I teach all my students. It's very clear as to what they're going to get because they know what's going to happen before it happens and why they get so much success, because they're not doing stuff that is unnecessary. They're simplifying their financial life. They're keeping it simple and they're doing just these few steps versus a million other things they see online. It's all confusing and that's why they never make actual progress. If you're that person, you need Budget Dog Academy. So to feel confident, you need this automated financial system in place, and you won't feel overwhelmed about hitting your financial freedom goal or trying to rush this goal. Now, you might be a highly ambitious person to where you still want to gamify this and speed this up, but at least you can see a clear-cut path to success. And I think that when we saw this, we became overly aggressive, especially 3 years ago when I quit my 9-to-5, because that was a big undertaking to just quit my 9-to-5 as a CPA at Deloitte and go full-time into my business. That was a big hurdle to get over mentally. And I think that's partly the reason why it was so tough versus if I stayed in my W-2, I would have seen a clear path. I would have looked for raises, promotions, and stuff like that, jumping companies, but it wouldn't have been as stressful. I think the situation we put ourselves in with quitting the 9-to-5, then 5 months later, having seizures galore because of this Dravet syndrome that we're dealing with, I think it did push us into overdrive. And I think that's why we rushed financial freedom. Now, looking back, we hit financial freedom as a result. So sometimes stress is good and it actually, sped up our goals, which was awesome. But I think the biggest thing along this journey, guys, is not to freak yourself out about hitting the goal tomorrow. And like I said, a lot of you guys want it tomorrow, and I get that. But if you figure out the roadmap to financial freedom, which is my bestseller's title, and you actually lay all this stuff out, you're going to bring your stress down instantly, and you're going to feel a lot better about your financial goals that you have. And you're not going to feel stressed on a daily basis that you have to be there tomorrow. You don't have to cut your spend to live the life that you want to live. You don't have to change your lifestyle in a crazy, crazy way. Most people make more money than they think, and they just don't know how. They don't have an automated financial plan. And so it's just a big gamble in their situation. They don't know when things are going to happen. They feel overwhelmed. They feel stressed. And I've realized most of my people that are really, really financially savvy, it's not even that they're more financially savvy than the other. They're more organized and they have clearer thoughts. I feel like a lot of people that can't get their finances right just are like jumping off walls in their brain. Like, I can instantly tell when somebody asks me questions, their brain's just too scattered. They got too much going on. They're focusing on a million different things when the roadmap to financial freedom is super simple if you actually know what you're doing and you eliminate all the waste. I'm a big minimalist by heart. Like, I like to eliminate everything, simplify, and automate. And so the reason why is if I have too much in my brain, I'm not going to be successful. And I know that about myself. So I take everything I don't need on my brain, put it onto paper, put it into my Asana, project management tool, or whatever my productivity tools are I have on my phone. I use that to my advantage to get that out of my brain space, and I focus on just the simple stuff. Today, what I do, I did a boring investment in $2,500 in my brokerage, $250 in my IRA. Super simple, nothing crazy. It's automated. I didn't have to do anything. It just happened. Whether I was here or not, because I was in the hospital for the ER visit yesterday. So I wasn't planning on investing today, but because I had an automated financial system set up, it was doing it for me. That's extremely powerful for the everyday person because we get busy, but also simplifying your life, getting out all the waste, and it's going to be super helpful in getting to your financial freedom goal without feeling rushed or stressed about it. And I think it's a big takeaway as I've experienced in real time. And I just like to talk about stuff I experienced because I know it relates to a lot of you guys listening to this and it can help you in a big way. So my one piece of advice is getting a financial automated system in place. So let's call it level 1 of financial freedom. Having everything I listed on that, earlier in the presentation, in the podcast to help your situation to know the outcome before it actually happens. So I hope this helps you guys, and I will talk to you guys next week.
You've been listening to Money on My Mind with your host, Brendan Schlagbaum. If you found value in today's discussion, share it with someone who could benefit from it too. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss a money mastery tip. Until next time, stay passionate about your financial journey and keep taking bold steps towards your money goals.